यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ब्रह्म मध्व गौड़ीय आचार्य वृंद की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, टैगोर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10, titled The Sammam Bonam, Chapter 8, titled Lord Sri Krishna Shows the Universal Form, verses 8 and 9. Verse 9 is on the board, so I will read the before verse. Kamsa papa mati sakyam tava chanak dundubi devakya ashtamo garbo nastri bhavitum arhati. Verse 9 is on the board. Iti sanchintayan shrutva devakya dharika vacha api hanta gata shankas tarhi tanno nayo bhave iti sanchintayan shrutva devakya dharika vacha api hanta gata shankas tarhi tanno nayo bhavet iti sanchintayan shrutva devakya dharika vacha api hanta gata shankas tarhi tanno nayo bhavet. Hare Krishna. Tarhi tanno nayo bhavet iti sanchintayan shrutva devakya dharika vacha api hanta gata shankas tarhi tanno nayo bhavet iti sanchintayan shrutva devakya dharika vacha api hanta gata shankas tarhi tanno nayo bhavet. Vaishnavis. We will do the word by word and translation for both the verses together. Kamsa, King Kamsa, Papa Mati, very, very sinful, having a polluted mind. Sakyam, friendship. Tava, ya, cha, also. Anaka Dundubi, of Vasudeva. Devakya, of Devaki. Ashtama Garbha, the 8th pregnancy. No, not. Stri, a woman. Bhavitum Arhati, is possible to be. Iti, in this way. Sanchintayan, considering. Shrutva, and hearing this news. Devakya, of Devaki. Dharika Vacha, the message from the daughter. Api, although there was. Hanta Gata Ashanka, there is a possibility that Kamsa would take steps to kill this child. Tarhi, therefore, that incident, na, for us, anya bhavet, may not be very good. Translation, please repeat. Kamsa is both a great diplomat and a very sinful man. Therefore, having heard from Yogamaya, the daughter of Devaki, that the child who will kill him has already been born somewhere else, having heard that the 8th pregnancy of Devaki could not bring forth a female child, and having understood your friendship with Vasudeva, Kamsa, upon hearing that the purificatory process has been performed by me, the priest of the Yadu dynasty, may certainly consider all these points and suspect that Krishna is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Then he might take steps to kill Krishna. That would be a catastrophe. Purport. Kamsa knew very well that Yogamaya was, after all, the maid servant of Krishna and Vishnu, and that although Yogamaya has appeared as the daughter of Devaki, she might have been forbidden to disclose this fact. Although this was what had happened, this was what had happened. Garga Muni argued very soberly that his taking part in performing the reformatory process for Krishna would give rise to many doubts, so that Kamsa might take very severe steps to kill the child. Kamsa had already sent many demons to attempt to kill this child, but none of them had survived. If Garga Muni were to perform this purificatory process, Kamsa's suspicions would be fully confirmed, and he would take very severe steps. Garga Muni gave this warning to Nanda Maharaj. So, in the previous chapters, we saw how Nanda Maharaj came to pay taxes. He came to Mathura for paying taxes, and then at that time he met with Vasudeva. And Vasudeva was inquiring about his son, Krishna, and Nanda Maharaj described all about Vrindavan and how his son has a wonderful setup for growing up. And Vasudeva was very, very happy to hear this. And Vasudeva was very happy that Krishna has accepted Nanda Maharaj as his father. This was in best interest of the child. And then we saw how Putana was killed, and in the previous chapter we saw how Trinavarta was killed. And this chapter, chapter describes the name-giving ceremony of Krishna and his crawling pastime and his playing with the cows and his eating earth and showing universal form to Mother Yashoda. So in the beginning of this chapter, we saw how by request of Vasudeva, Garga Muni, who is the family priest of Vasudeva and Yaduvamsa, he is visiting the house of Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj receives him respectfully and he glorifies him. And what does he glorify Garga Muni for? He glorifies Garga Muni for his Jyotish Shastra, for his immense astrological knowledge, by which one can understand the past and present. One can even see one's previous life and what is the effect of the actions of that life, what will be the effect of that in this life and all that, So Garga Muni is glorified for his astrological abilities, and then Nanda Maharaj requests Garga Muni to perform the name-giving ceremony of his two boys. And since Garga Muni is expert in Jyotish Shastra, it is no surprise to him that Nanda Maharaj's son is actually not Nanda Maharaj's son, but it is Vasudeva's son. And these two boys are Swayam Krishna and Balaram. They are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in fact, when Garga Muni gives name, he calls Krishna, the first name he gives is Vasudeva. So Garga Muni is aware that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna has appeared as the son of Vasudeva, and he describes all the previous incarnations of Krishna before giving his name. And in spite of all of this, we will see here how Garga Muni is worried that Kamsa might kill Krishna. In the translation, Hantagata Ashanka, there is a possibility that Kamsa would take steps to kill this child. So there is some anxiety, and that anxiety calls in for some secretive action. That if I come and we make a big celebration and we do the ceremony, then Kamsa will immediately understand that I am your priest, I am coming to Nanda's house and doing a name-giving ceremony for Nanda's son. So it is not Nanda's son, it should be your son. He will easily figure it out, and there is a big danger that Krishna will be, he will try to kill Krishna. And Krishna is God, and Garga Muni knows it. And Krishna is the one who requires least protection of all of the people. And yet, devotees are worried about protecting that one person who doesn't require any protection. In fact, he is the source of protection of all of those devotees. And that is the beauty of the 10th canto. Because we cross the border of dutiful worship and we enter into spontaneous love for Krishna. And then everything looks very weird. Because we can't understand it, for us it looks very weird. There's God, and he appears in the prison house with 4 hands, and he is transported out of the prison miraculously across the river in middle of the night, and nobody could, and Kamsa sent so many demons already and nothing was happening, and still devotees feel anxious for Krishna. And this Krishna anxiety is called a spiritual anxiety. If you thought that you all left your material life, which was filled with anxiety, and now that you have taken up Krishna consciousness, you're going to live a very anxiety-free, stress-free life, you're in for a shock. Because the more progress you make in Krishna consciousness, more anxiety you're going to feel. And the anxiety might be so acute that you may sometimes faint out of it. And so you may think, what is the deal? What is right? How was it right for me to take Krishna consciousness? If I have to go through anxiety in material life and anxiety in spiritual life, and so much anxiety that I have to even faint, what is the deal? Why is Krishna consciousness better? Krishna consciousness is better because the result of such anxiety in material world is distress, depression. And the result of anxiety in spiritual life is that you will feel very intense, condensed form of bliss, great happiness. And that happiness is beyond the description of material. We cannot describe. In Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami says that when we are doing sadhan bhakti and you get some happiness out of it, if it is compared to one drop of water from ocean, then the ecstasy experienced by performing spontaneous devotional service, pure devotional service, it is like a unlimited ocean. One drop versus unlimited ocean. Whatever we are experiencing currently is one drop. But what is in store is not ocean, but is unlimited ocean of ecstasy. So we cannot actually perceive it, because what our ability allows us now is to just perceive that one drop. So we can consider this analogy of a beam that is balanced at a pivot point. Yeah, so there is a fixed point, and the beam balances. We may have seen this seesaw, the children go up and down like that, and if it stays like this, then if you're climbing this way, you will find it pretty hard, because you're going uphill. You're going against gravity, so you find it pretty hard to climb uphill. But when you reach this particular point, pivot point, and then when you go down, then you have not changed your course of action, but the whole thing becomes very, very easy, because now you're going downhill. So there's a pivot point, I'm going like this, and I'm going uphill, and once I reach the pivot point, then everything changes, and then now I'm suddenly starting to go downhill. I'm going downhill. And that is what exactly happens when we start devotional service. It looks pretty tough. When we newly accept Krishna consciousness, family might oppose, friends may think we are very crazy to have this tuft of hair not shaved, and wearing like a long piece of cloth around us. How do you guys even move? Do you just roll around? So so people don't accept us, and if everybody accepts, our mind will trouble us. We can't chant properly. We have so many questions. Our faith is very weak. So when we start, it is like a uphill struggle. We are really, really struggling. And sometimes the starting is itself taking 20 years. So I'm chanting for 20 years now. Where is the bliss? Where is the goosebumps? What is happening? Does this even work? We are puzzled, because day after day we go Mangalarti chant, and you do this throughout the day. Sandwich process, in morning Bhagavatam, afternoon full day service, evening Bhagavad Gita, and whole day. And where is that? Where is the tears? Where is all that ecstatic symptoms? Why am I not experiencing? Sometimes we are puzzled, am I doing the right thing, like that? But this pivot point is the point of surrender. When somebody relentlessly pursues this uphill path and they reach the point of surrender, after surrender happens, Once we are fully surrendered to Krishna, then the whole process suddenly takes, it becomes like a roller coaster. Everything seems to go very nice. You start actually feeling ecstatic, and you start actually feeling very happy. And so the question is, when will we reach that point? So have we reached that point? Are we making effort to reach that point of surrender? So here is, I have made some kind of personal checklist, like a kind of comparative table that will help us understand where exactly we are in this beam of devotional service. How close are we to the pivot? How close are we to surrendering? Am I here? Am I here? Am I downhill already feeling some kind of ecstasy? And here is some kind of points I gathered down, like a checklist that might help us reflect a little bit more on our practices and see how surrendered we are. So one thing that we can all check is, if we are unsurrendered devotee, we perform devotional service as per our job description per se. Yeah, for example, if I am pujari, I will do puja. I am a toilet cleaner, I will do toilet cleaning. Oh, Prabhu, but can you please go and feed the cows during? Yeah, but that is not. It's not. Sorry, it's not my job. It's not. I wasn't asked to do that. It is not something that I was supposed. I'm not supposed to do this. So that if that is the mindset of an unsurrendered devotee, they do what they have to do, and probably what they have the capacity to do, but nothing more. A surrendered devotee, on the other hand, will do whatever is required. Srila Prabhupada wrote books and gave instructions like Brahmana. He organized the institute, he put a managing body, GBC, and he ran an institute like a Kshatriya. He organized books, money, printing, temples, and Gurukul, all kind of activities like a merchant class person. And when ISKCON was still in its budding stages, he would clean up plates. He would clean up the room after all the hippies finished eating their meals. So he does not belong to some particular group or class. He belongs to Krishna, and whatever is required for spreading Krishna consciousness, they will do. They will not say, oh, this is not my job, this is not what I am supposed to do, this is actually her job. You better ask her. If we have that mentality, that is one typical sign that we are not very surrendered. We can do whatever we are supposed to do or we are capable of doing, but we are not doing whatever is asked of us. Our authorities come and say, I want you, Prabhupada told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you go preach in China. Yes, okay, I'm going. Prabhupada's disciples are ideal examples of total surrender. Whatever Prabhupada asks them, they will do. And irrespective of how difficult or how much they know to do it or how much they don't know to do it, they will just surrender to what they asked to do, and they will do. And that surrender reflects as actions that we can do even if it is not in our job description. And if we are unsurrendered, then our service is boxed. We have a list of things that we are supposed to do, and we will do it, and we will feel very happy because we did it. But devotional service is always performed in association of devotees. So it is never possible that you can do a devotional service in a box. Your devotional service will depend on some input from some devotee, and somebody else's devotional service depends on something from you. Devotional service is performed in association. All the services are interconnected. It is not possible that one Prabhu or one Mataji can organize a festival. It is a teamwork. And when we box, What we do is we actually, there's all of us are connected, and when we box, all these people's service gets blocked by our box. So that is a sign of a person who is unsurrendered. Let's consider this example that there is a festival. So there are 5 senior devotees being invited, and one Prabhu is in charge of bringing them to the festival, one Prabhu is in charge of making garlands for them, one Prabhu is in charge of greeting them in the gate, one Prabhu is in charge of taking them for prasadam, and so on. So it is a teamwork. My service, your service, everyone's service is connected together. If one of us is not doing our service properly, then others will also face some result because of that. So suddenly this Prabhu who is gone to take those 5 senior devotees to your festival pandal, he is calling and saying, you know what, one more Maharaj is coming, we have got 6 senior devotees. And the devotees say, Hari Bol, yes, And then the devotee standing in the gate with 5 garlands, he's like, oh, Hari Bol, yes, but what do? I have only 5 garlands, So then he goes to this garland in charge and says, Prabhu, can you please make 1 garland more, somehow can you get? So I am thinking, I am in charge of making 5 garlands. I made 5 garlands. Boss, I've made 5 garlands. I am sorry. Whatever you asked of me, I did. Then what happens? He is in so much anxiety. So he immediately runs, let's say, to the prasadam in charge. Prabhu, we need one more garland. Could you please go? And he says, yeah, sure. Oh, no problem. So he takes his bike and he's riding around here, there, and he finds a garland. He comes back after 40 minutes. Already half the class is gone and nobody is having garlands, because you can't garland one Vaishnava without respecting the other one. So the 6th garland comes, and then all the devotees are garlanded, and everybody, and then this guy missed all the class, his Guru Maharaj is giving class, 40 minutes of class gone, and basically so many other devotees were going out of their way to do something they could have easily not done and could have done something else, because you boxed yourself. And when we say, sorry, the 6th garland is your problem, then we are boxing, and we are not boxing our service, and that means we are not actually surrendered. We are not actually performing devotional service. In fact, we are blocking the devotional service of many people. So now I am standing there with all the Maharajas wearing 5 garlands, and I am feeling so much bliss. Definitely you will feel happy because you did some service and it is accepted by devotees. You will feel some happiness, and then comes the part where we talk about the result. So I am feeling happiness, and I look at that Prabhu who missed the class, who was going around running to find a garland, and you look at him and he's going here to here, he's smiling like anything. He is feeling happiness, and he just brought a very lousy 1 garland. And I made 5 beautiful garlands, but he is smiling here to here, and you are just puzzled. What happened? How is that he is so happy, and I am not feeling so much happiness? So now when the result starts manifesting, slowly you will see that the happiness that you are experiencing starts dwindling. And you will start comparing. My garlands are way better. That one is really looking odd. It's not so nice. I could have done much better job. You start making your mind starts dictating terms. Then you go to this Prabhuji greeting in the gate, say, Prabhu, it is not my fault, you can't just suddenly demand all these things, it is not my fault. And then he'll say, yes, Prabhu, yes, thank you, the garlands are very beautiful. Yes, it's not your fault, thank you so much. And then you will think, yes, people understand me, you feel little bit happy. But then you don't feel that happiness for a long time. You think, he's so fake, he's so fake. How can he say like that? And then you go to the Prabhu who went with the bike to get the 6th garland. And then you tell him, see, my garland is so nice, the garland you brought is not so nice. And then you say, yes, Prabhu, I have so much to learn from you. Yes, my quality of service is very poor. And then you feel like, yes, I'm acknowledged. And then suddenly one Maharaj is also giving you one garland. And you got the Maha garland also, and so you should be feeling so much happiness. Everybody is crediting your service. You even get acknowledged for your service. But in spite of that, somewhere you will feel some remorseness. You will not feel that happiness and joy smiling this end of the year to that end of the year. You don't feel that kind of smile. And you think, what is that? I mean, if we think, what is that I am doing wrong, then we are safe. But instead of thinking like that, if we just continue with our mentality, and if we think, this is, this ISKCON devotees, they're so much like this, all the time they're so unplanned. They say they'll come at 10 o'clock. By the time they come, it's 10:30, and children are hungry, and when will they start? When the mentality goes on and on and on, if we don't stop there and see, how is that Prabhu who missed the whole class of his Guru Maharaj feeling so much happiness? And how is that me who is having Maha Garland feeling so miserable? If we don't reflect and if we just go on with our negative mentality, then we are no more climbing with difficulty. We are actually sliding down. We are going down the path. So, and you start feeling that everyone is fake. Even though they sincerely give you compliments, you can't take it because you feel it is fake, because there's something fake in our service, right? So it is just a reflection of our service. So you cannot, even though they give a sincere compliment, we think that it is fake. And we develop some offensive mentality. So it is a very important checklist for devotees, that we don't just stay in the uphill path. We very quickly, very quickly in our devotional life, we should have very intense desire and determination to reach the pivot point. We should not just say, I'm standing here and one day, one fine morning, everything will happen. We should push forward. We should struggle to go uphill, never give up, especially with the mind projecting so many ideas about how you are very exalted and how many years you have done service and how you can make perfect garlands and so on. It is very important that we cross very quickly this uphill path and surrender to Krishna. And with that surrender, then devotional service becomes very easy. Because I boxed my service, I feel miserable in spite of having all the acknowledgement and credit. And because that Prabhu did not box himself to, I am in charge of serving prasadam. One more garland is not my headache. He did not say that. You want one more garland? Yes, I'm going to get it for you. It means so many things. He's going to miss this, he's going to miss that, somebody else is going to do his service, maybe they're not trained to do it. But because they take that anxiety for Krishna, and in reciprocation, Krishna fills their heart with great joy. Sandrananda Visheshatma, nectar of devotion, Rupa Goswami says, the kind of ecstasy a surrendered devotee feels by performance of pure devotional service is like condensed sweetness, like drinking sugarcane juice and eating jaggery. Yeah, the sugarcane juice is sweet, but it has water. But jaggery is pure sweetness. And once you start eating it, there is no getting away from it. Oh my God, I have diabetes, but this is so good, I can't stop eating. It's so nectarian that you may have physical inhibitions, you may have some limitations financially, but it will never stop you from performing that kind of devotional service. You will not mind going up in a cargo ship. You will not mind 2 heart attacks. You will not mind staying among hippies. You will not mind cleaning up after they finish eating. You will not mind sitting all night and translating Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. You will not mind going and bargaining buildings for making temple. So there was this pastime of Prabhupada that they found this very beautiful temple, very, very beautiful, and the house owner was thinking of putting some big number, And then when Prabhupada came and he saw the building, it was like, oh, it is very nice, very beautiful, we like it. And he was thinking, wow, they like it, so now I can shoot the price. And then Prabhupada said, but we are all beggars. So we are begging for Krishna, please give this building free of cost. So, and at some point he was taking out all the beautiful decorations and wall decorations, because it was a real bad deal for him to sell the house for that price, So anything, you can do anything and everything. And going and preaching in communist Russia, going into China and preaching to those devotees and bringing them all to Mayapur, and plotting like Gargamuni, how Gargamuni is plotting. Please, Vasudeva, you should know that, please Nanda Maharaj, you should know that Vasudeva will understand, not understand, you should know that Vasudeva may think, please Nanda Maharaj, you should know that Kamsa may think that this boy is Vasudeva's son if I perform this ceremony. But I will perform this ceremony, but let's make it secret. So they will all go into cow shed and they will make a small ceremony there. And the whole of Nandagram is cooperating with it. Nobody will question, hey, why is such, you are the king of our clan, why is that we don't have a party for the name giving ceremony? Everybody keeps it secret, teamwork, they all share that anxiety for protecting Krishna from Kamsa, and they all share the joy of having a secret ceremony. And when we reach that point in our devotional service, that we are so surrendered that we can do anything and everything for pleasing Krishna, and we don't box ourselves, we don't give ourselves job descriptions, and this is what I am, this is what I will do, and then we will experience. When we are neophyte, even in our beginning stages of Krishna consciousness, we experience Kleshagni and Shubhada. You will feel great relief from material anxiety, and you will feel auspiciousness. And as you grow up in your spiritual life, you will reject the joy of liberation. Rupa Goswami said that is like, I would rather go to hell instead of merging into the light. The bliss got by liberation is nothing. Devotees frown at it, but it is very rarely obtained. But when you become that exalted form of Uttama Bhakta, then you experience that intense, condensed form of bliss that you obtain by feeling anxiety for Krishna. And in turn for such pure love that you have for Krishna, then Krishna Akarshani Krishna Akarshani Sacha. Krishna will now start looking at you. When we are neophytes, we are looking at the deities. I want to stand in the first row. I want the water sprinkled on my head. I want to be first in the Chadari line. That we can relate to Krishna very nicely. As we grow up spiritually, we don't relate only to Krishna, but we relate so much more with devotees also. We know how to deal very nicely with devotees also. And when we reach the Uttama level, we don't anymore see anybody unqualified. Everybody looks better than us. Everybody looks exalted than us. And when we reach that level, all the anxiety we take up for Krishna, it will be reciprocated with Sandrananda, intense, immense pleasure. So I would like to finish with this lecture by Srila Prabhupada on Bhagavad Gita 16:11-12, Hawaii, February 7, 1975. Just like this Krishna conscious movement, all the activities, they're not material, they're all spiritual. But still, because it is being enacted in the material world, we have so much anxiety because they are in material world. Although the anxiety is also bhakti, it is nothing else, it is not material. When we are anxious how to protect a property, how to push on this movement, how people will take it, what line of action we shall take, this is also anxiety. But anxiety is for Krishna. Therefore, it is bhakti. Anxiety. Even in Vrindavan, there is anxiety. Radharani is in anxiety that Krishna is not here. How will Krishna come? How Krishna will come? The gopis are also in anxiety. Gopis are so in anxiety that about them it is said that when Krishna used to go to the forest for tending the cows, so the gopis were thinking at home that Krishna's feet is so soft that we hesitate to take his feet on our breast. But he is now walking in the forest and there are so many stones and pricks and they are giving pain to Krishna's lotus feet. And thinking like this, they fainted. This is Gopi. Krishna is out of the village and they are at home and they are thinking of Krishna and they fainted. This is also anxiety. So much anxiety, they faint. But that is for Krishna. Therefore, gopis are exalted. Ramye kechit upasana vrajavadu varga virya kalpita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he recommends, there is no better type of worshipping Krishna than it is planned by the gopis. So there is also anxiety. So anxiety is spiritual and material anxiety. Spiritual anxiety means you are advancing in spiritual life. And material anxiety means you are going downhill. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any comments or questions? Yes, sir. So Mataji is asking that sometimes when she is trying to take some initiative or some big effort in Krishna consciousness, she does risk evaluation. Yeah, how can I do it? Is it doable or not? You know, and we should never perform devotional service alone. We should always team up. Anything we want to do, devotional service cannot be performed alone at all. We should always, we are all Goshtanandis. We are devotees who perform devotional service in group. It is like sometimes, there are some people who are very scared to go in this, you go up and then you sit in some thing and then it's a ride, and then it goes down like, you're very scared to do that, But when you're going with your friends and they'll say, come on, it's going to be fun, let's do it. And then they drag you and they put you in the chair and it's like, ugh! And then it comes down, it's like, ah! And then then they're like, don't worry, we are here. And your friends are all holding hands and then you just take that ride with them, So there might be risk, but as long as we are in company of devotees, it will be fun. So if we plan to do devotional service alone, then there is a very small chance that we will do anything at all. So if anything we want to do, we have to take blessings, we have to ask guidance, we have to make a team, and that is how big things are done. Chanting, of course, we don't go to we don't do like group chanting, that is personal, but everything else is we have to make our team. Then there will be definitely risks, but because we are working as a team, it will all be spread out. It will be so scattered that you won't feel anything. You will very successfully come down the ride and you will feel so happy that you want to again go. It's like a adrenaline rush. Let's do it again, and you can't stop it. It's like tasting of jaggery. You can't stop it at all. So if we are in association of devotees, it will become easier. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you for this enthusiasm to describe the process. When I distribute books in the morning during the japa, I have always the anxiety that the guests who come for chant, maybe the first time, they feel oppression after with the bags who arrive and asking, and they go outside after one round. Is it in my heart? The depression is because I would like that everybody stays sit and chant 16 rounds of the test and go back. But what is the best to think?
I don't know if I understood correctly. In the morning, after the guests chant one round after Mangalarati, then you go with the bags trying to distribute books. Yeah?
Yes, for them, they come, they learn what is it, the Maha Mantra, and they sit, they chant one round, and after they receive books, and they go outside the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And my anxiety is to know if it's not better to let them chant 16 rounds, or at least what they want, and they left when they want, and we stay outside with the books. Then, because many who don't have money, they feel like embarrassed, I think. But is it my projection or?
Well, so what is your question? Should they be chanting 16 rounds instead of us trying to?
We have this anxiety to protect Krishna in the form of the holy name.
If they chant one round, one name is enough. If any one of them in a very, very surrendered, selfless way chanted one Maha Mantra, that is enough to what we are all trying for past 25 years, they would have done in that one visit to Mayapur. So it is not about the number, it is about the quality. So if they all come to Mayapur and if they all chanted one round in association of some devotees who are guiding them, that is already the starting step of their spiritual life. And we should never hesitate to give Srila Prabhupada's books. Sometimes these very same poor people, they go into some mall or some mela, in the village frequently, where if you go by, now is the season when spring comes, they put up so many mela. Mela is like a fairground. You have so many games and all that. And when they go there, people are calling them, convincing them, pay some money, they give you a gun and there's balloons, and if you shoot 5 balloons, you get some spoon or something, So they have money or not money, everybody will attack them for money. And everybody will try to sell them something. But we are the most honorable people because we sell Krishna to them. They are all selling maybe a teaspoon or whatever, but we give them one book of Prabhupada is like time bomb. They may not actually open it and read it. That book goes into some place and somebody is there, and I've heard many times this story that some person wanted to commit suicide, and then they went up the building and then they saw Bhagavad Gita there, it was drenched in rain or something, and then they took and they read and they got down from the building and they became a devotee, So it's like time bomb. You never know where it is placed and for whom it is placed and how it is going to explode and how so many new devotees are going to come. So unhesitantly giving out Srila Prabhupada's book, they have money or they don't have money, even if it means we have to rip them off their last penny, you take it, you give them the books, and that is the best thing they would have ever experienced in their life. You cannot nourish yourself without, it's a selfishness, it is selfishness. I get the nectar and I keep it all to myself. A nectar stored forever inside you becomes poison. So you cannot nourish yourself if you don't share it out. Our Acharya is Goshthananda. We just follow Prabhupada. We will not spare anybody. We will give them Krishna conscious. They're coming here, they're just walking past, and then you smile and you say Hare Krishna, already first impact. Already some connection with Krishna is established. So they are not two separate processes. They are together. We want to be spiritually nourished, we have to give Krishna consciousness to others. That is how we will become, people who seclude themselves, after sometimes they become Babaji, and they this, they that, and after some time you see them, they have wife and children, and they degrade away from the process. But whoever are there in the field distributing books and preaching and home program and this and that, and for years and years and years, they will just continue the Krishna conscious process. So we want to nourish our Krishna consciousness. The best way to do it is giving it to others. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.